All right. So it's recording now.
Yep.
All right.
Hang on 1 second. I got a hair in my eye.
And my nose is bleeding also.
Oh. I've had this hair in my eye for like the last 2 hours, and it's driving me nuts. Okay.
All right. So this is a new place for me. So let's start with just a general introduction. I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
I just want to say, first of all, thank you, Rene, for being here. It's really an honor for me to have you with me. And also, I've known you since when I attended the course Transurfing, the first level, second level, until the training, the trainer.
Yes.
And
one of the best,
and it was
best students.
So it was amazing. I just want people to know you more. If you can tell me something about yourself, and also the usual question: what gets you up in the morning?
Yes, of course. Well, a little bit about me. I was born into a life that wasn't really programmed for success, if I can say it like that. Through a lot of very hard work, a lot of time, a lot of stress on myself, I was able to create a name for myself, create a business, create money, create a nice life, as I was led to believe, you know, how nice lives looked. And then later on, after totally exhausting myself and becoming spiritually empty, not knowing really who I was or my true path in life or what things were going to make me feel ultimately the sense of fulfillment that I have now, I realized that there was actually a much better, easier way to do things. And that was through reality transurfing. I discovered transurfing about 4 years ago, and absolutely everything in my life has changed since discovering transurfing. My views about myself, about my environment, what success looks like to me, what success feels like to me, my core values, who I am as a person, and what I do with my energy that creates the life that I now love to live. This is all because of transurfing. It has opened my eyes to a world that I never in a million years would have believed existed. And like I tell a lot of people, if somebody would have told me 10 years ago that I would be here where I am right now with my values, the way that they are, the successes that I've had, the way I feel about myself, the way I feel about my family, my friends, my reality, my environment. If somebody would have told me that this is how my life was going to look and going to be, I never in a million years would have believed them. It has been an absolute miracle to me, and I have made it my mission for now to try to get this word out to as many people as possible so they can start reaping some of the benefits of transurfing.
Wow, wow. You know, Renee, there is a saying that says a lot of people, a lot of men stumble on the truth and then they dust themselves off and move in their way. My question is, how did you stumble on transurfing? What was it? It was like just any regular book? You just took a book, start reading it, or what was it exactly?
No, it's actually a very weird story, and it kind of gives me the chills just talking about it. I'll tell you why it's so wild. Because I realized that it was a very, very brief opportunity like that. that could have passed me and I would never have even found it. So there was this artist on Instagram that I was following for a while, just some zany artist that was, you know, doing her own thing. And she had like 100,000 followers. And so lots of people would post comments on her photos. You know, she'd have like a few hundred comments on each photo. Well, one day she posted this thing, I can't even remember what it was. And I was scrolling through the comments and somebody said on there, have you ever heard of reality transurfing? And when I saw that, I saw the words reality transurfing like a big glowing golden door. I can't even begin to tell you what it was like. I knew that those two words were going to change my life forever. And they did. It is the weirdest thing. So the reason that I get chills when I tell that story is I realize, like, if I just wouldn't have seen that post, maybe I would never have found any of it.
Yeah.
You know? Like how quick opportunity presents itself to us in our reality, and we have to be aware. And we have to see it when it happens. And not only do we have to see it, be aware to see it and see it, we have to be willing to act on it, right? So as soon as I saw those two words, of course, the first thing I did is I popped them into Google and I pulled up, you know, Vadim's Space of Variations YouTube video. And I was going for long walks at this point in my life, and everything about my life was uncertain at this moment. But the one thing that I did find, you know, peace in and joy every day was going on these long walks with myself. So I listened to the YouTube video while I was going on these walks. And it was like I literally saw my reality transform before my eyes. I saw things look different to me, even just on the same street that I would walk down every day. Things started to appear differently. I started to interact with people and feel different about my interactions with them. I started to see opportunities more. My eyes just started to open, and the path that I've taken since then has been amazing. I mean, it has been hands down the most meaningful, beautiful thing that has ever happened to me in my life, and that's why I love to tell others about it.
All right, so then you should tell us, what is reality transurfing? Just, yeah, I mean, the gist of it. What is it? Why would people be interested in it? I mean, you said that it transformed your life, but you know, a lot of people say a lot of things transform their life. But can you tell us just a little bit about transurfing? Like, what is it? What is it exactly?
So Transurfing is a book. It is a series of methods to help you sort of break down exactly what your reality consists of, the different energetic fields, if you will, that are at play, and how they influence us on a minute-to-minute basis in our lives. Okay, so what is reality transurfing? Reality transurfing is a book which was written by Vadim Zeland, a Russian author. It is a series of methods for seeing what your reality is made of and how you can influence your reality. So it not only sort of pulls the curtain back on what your reality actually is and what it consists of, but how you can affect it and how your actions or the things that you the energy that you put in, how it will affect and come back to you. So one of the main concepts in reality transurfing is the dual mirror. Okay, and the idea is that all reality really is a mirror reflecting back our attitude towards it. Okay, so everybody has their own version of reality that they've created in their mind. Every single person's version of reality is unique. and their relationship to it. Okay. A person that thinks very negatively is not going to have a lot of positive things going on in their life. A person that thinks very positively is going to have a lot of positive things going on in their life. A person that thinks positively and feels like they are in tune with who they are, they are in tune with their reality, they understand their relationship with their reality, and they feel good about their path and their mindset, they most likely are not going to have bad things happening to them all the time, because they have transported themselves to a life track where similar things exist at the same frequency as their thoughts. So it's all about getting your thought quality to a frequency that coincides with the things that you want, either material things, events, other people, you know, a profession. It's all about creating this material outwardly of us by adjusting the frequency of our thoughts, and also with action as well.
That's wonderful, Renee. If you can give us just like an example for a person that is in a bad relationship, or maybe a single, he wants to be in a relationship. Single person, he wants to be in a relationship. A girl wants to be in a relationship. A man wants to be in a relationship, and they are not in a relationship, or they are in a bad relationship.
Yes.
How you're saying that they should be feeling the feeling of good feeling, even though the situation or the reality they are in here right now is not the reality that they want. How can they feel good in the reality that they don't want?
Okay, so this is the way that I like to explain it to the people that take lessons with me. Imagine you are a time traveler. Okay, imagine the things that you desire. Okay, let's say you want a different profession, and you want a better relationship, and you want you know, more money, more freedom, whatever the things that it is, whatever it is that you want. Now imagine that you're living this life in the future. Okay, this is who you are. These are the things that you have. These are the things that you've done. And then what you do is you travel back in time, okay, not forward, but backward. You travel back in time to the current moment, right? Being and acting as though you just were in your life that's in the future, okay? So if I want to be a motivational speaker, right? Or I want to be, you know, a transurfing expert, and I want to travel the world talking about what I love, transurfing, and I want, you know, a lot of money in my bank, a partner that supports me, and all the other things that make up this wonderful reality as I envision it, right? I know that if I simply act as though I already have achieved those things in the future, right now in this moment, it's only a matter of time until the mirror responds to my attitudes, right? My reality will mold and shift itself to match what I am feeling inside. That's how I've gotten to where I am presently, right? I just acted, I imagined myself in the future with the things that I wanted, doing the things that I loved, having the things that I, you know, having everything I want to have. And then I just acted backwards, right? So now I'm in this moment, I have my goals of the things that I want, but I start acting now as though I've already achieved them. And that's just one of the transfer way. Yeah, that's one thing that you can do. There's many of them, There's many of them, but that's just one. And it's a very, very effective tool. Tufte, the new Transurfing book, Tufte talks a lot about that. You know, stop wanting, stop wishing, and start composing. You know, start composing simply means that you are composing now what you want to see in the future frame of your movie, the movie that is your life. So you start acting as the character you ultimately want to become now, therefore affecting the mirror that will eventually show back to you the image that you're projecting outward. It's pretty simple, actually.
Yes, actually, you know, one of the things that I did before I knew Transurfing, but I did the same as the whole concept of Transurfing. One of the things I did is like before I was a trainer, I imagined myself as a trainer. And also I imagined myself doing it all over the Gulf.
Yes.
And then I did like a what do you call it? Theatric move.
Yes.
I went to the stage where I imagined myself putting my hands like this as if I was greeting the audience. I was imagining myself there. I got out of my chair, went to the stage, and went to the same place that I imagined myself greeting the audience. That was like 4 years ago.
Awesome.
And now I'm doing training all over the Gulf.
Yes.
People come to me, they say, "You're famous." I'm not even sure if I'm famous or not, you know, but they keep saying that to me until recently. Maybe I believed it, but now I didn't even believe that I was that famous to other people. So it was amazing. I only did this and I enjoyed it because it was part of my, I don't know, my identity, part of my passion, I guess. So I did it out of passion. That's it.
Yeah, so that's another one of the Transurfing fundamentals, as you know, is that you pick a goal that is in line with who you are, that your skill set or your characteristics of your personality fit well with, right? So like, you know, if I wanted to become I don't know, let's say an astronaut right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm at a certain age, right? My skill set is the skill set that I'm working with is really what my skill set is. I can develop, right? I can develop as a person, but you know, to be an astronaut, you have to understand a lot of things that I don't understand, a lot of mathematics and heavy equations and things like that. There's nothing wrong with me acknowledging that that's not my goal to become an astronaut. If I wanted to become an astronaut right now, I would be choosing a goal that is intended for someone else because it's not necessarily in line with my skill set. What I do is I look for goals that are in line with my skill set. I don't try to be anybody that I'm not. If one thing that I have absolutely perfected in my life, it is me being exactly who it is that I feel that I am. I do not let other people influence me. I do not try to make myself in a way to fit into something else that wasn't intended for me. I simply look at what it is, any endeavor that comes in front of me, and I say to myself, is this something that I want? Does my heart feel good about this? Does my brain agree? And is my skill set in line with this thing? And if all those answer yes, I know that there's an opportunity for success there. So then what I need to do is fuel it. I need to put energy into it, and I need to walk, you know, to that goal along a path and just take emotionless action towards that goal. I don't need to feel that there's an importance that I achieve it. I don't need to feel like there's a time frame that I need to achieve it, because I ultimately enjoy that path more than actually achieving the goal. But it just comes naturally. There's nothing I really need to do other than just be myself. That's it.
That's amazing, Rene. You said so many good points in regard of achieving a goal. So I want to repeat it because people will, it shouldn't just pass by just like that. You said that it has to be within your skill set, within your character, within your characteristics. It's in line with your heart, your mind, your thinking. It's part of all of them agrees on it. And also just enjoy the journey. Don't just be focused on the time frame or the when it's going to happen. Be free spirit with it.
Yes, you do not have to try. If you are working hard at something and it feels like work, or it is making you feel tired or fatigued or stressed or any sort of negative feelings, then you most likely are not on the path to your own goal. You have chosen a foreign goal that belongs to somebody else, which is what most people do. And we've all done this in our lives, right?
Yeah.
There are lots of people that have gone to university studying something they really don't feel passionate about, and then they graduate university and they're like, well, wait a second, I don't want to even do this thing anyway. That's because it wasn't your goal. If it was your goal, you would have had a ton of energy. You would have known exactly what you want to do with the goal by the time you get out of university. Things would have connected, right? Things would be feeling good along the way, not like something is challenging or it's weighing you down or it's causing you, some sort of distress or something like that.
Actually, Rene, I have so many questions. Like, is Tufty a real person or not?
He's not Tufty. Tufty is not a real person, and I am not Tufty. I know that a lot of people think that I'm actually Tufty. I'm not. Tufty is played by a woman named Tatiana. She's the director of the Transurfing Academy in Moscow.
Okay.
And I've met her. She's a very, very nice woman. Tufty is sort of her alter ego, which was created by Vadim Zealand, and it's a character or a role that she gets into and she plays.
And what was the state that Vadim Zealand was in? Because he was completely different than the Transurfing, the book Transurfing. It was like Transurfing was like so many instructions you have to follow. It is a heavy book.
Yeah.
Tufty, on the other hand, it was like a whole character. You can see the character playing. You can see her poking you. You can see her, playing, messing with you, and it is like you can even have it like a novel, not even really a book.
It's very easy to read. I oftentimes will just pick up. I have lots and lots and lots of copies of Tufty. This is just a few. I think I bought like 20 of them. I give them to everybody. I love them so much. It is such an amazing book. You can almost, like, if you understand Transurfing terms, you can almost open to any page of the book and just read like a couple pages and get something from it.
Yes.
It's very potent information that if you can use that in your waking reality, you will absolutely, no doubt, see results in your reality. It is not a joke. It is real stuff. Transurfing, the original book, steps 1 through 5, or the 5 volumes, how they originally were, I mean, that's the bread and butter of Transurfing.
It's very deep.
Yes, everybody needs to go through that before they, go into actual reality creation with Tufty. But it's like Tufty is sort of an advanced course in Transurfing, and I love it. I mean, it's an amazing book. And it was really awesome to give the seminar this year for Tufty. I mean, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. And I'm still reading the book, and every time I go into like a chapter or something, and some of them I go ahead and try my own techniques, then I find it in the other chapter. I'm trying my own techniques, then I find it in the chapter itself. Like, for example, the flow of energy and whatever. So it's amazing. I had when I announced for this interview, somebody called me and I had a couple of questions. I'm not sure if it fits for this interview, but why not? Since you're here,
Yes.
let's just ask you the question.
Yeah, let's
One
go.
of the ladies is already engaged with someone. She used to have she used to like him before she knows him. Like he was her colleagues at work, and she used to kind of like him. Then he starts liking her. Then the thing got serious, and now they are getting engaged. And now she's scared as hell. She's just too scared.
Yes.
Yeah. Even though she liked him and everything. So what would you say, like from transferring point of view, would you say with that?
So usually the reason why we do things that we don't feel comfortable with is because our environment has a lot of influence on us in the form of pendulums, right? Mm-hmm. Pendulums are ideas or energetic entities that want us to agree with their terms, right? And our society structure is made out of an infinite number of pendulums, and every culture has their own pendulums, right? Your family can be a pendulum. Your family is a pendulum. Your hope that people are going to think of you in a good way or think you're doing the right things in life, that is a pendulum, right? So we have to be cautious of what pendulums we are agreeing to do business with, so to speak. Your friend sounds like, you know, she's probably involved in a pendulum where she feels that she should get married by a certain time, right? Totally normal, totally common. It's everybody has a biological clock. Everybody has the drive to obviously couple with another person and do the things that you're going to do as a couple, have children, create wealth, all that stuff. But the reality of it is, you as an individual, your friend as an individual human being, she might not be in a place or be ready for that. And the reason that she's doing it is because maybe her family wants her to. Maybe the man is pressuring her and she doesn't, you know, she doesn't necessarily want to let him down, but she doesn't know how to say, hey, I'm just not ready for this right now. So transurfing, really, for me, it helped me get to a deep understanding about who I am and what I'm capable of, right? If somebody asks me now, hey, can you come and do this thing? I can assess pretty quickly, is this for me or is this not for me? If it's for me, it becomes something on my track, something that I feed energy to, something that I, you know, that I have values surrounding. But if it's not, then I leave it. I don't mess with it. I walk away entirely. And I've done that with a lot of things in my life currently. I've left a business. I've left issues that I've had with my image about who I want to be and what success looks like. I've left behind some of the things that like what my family thinks about me, right? I'm of a certain age. I do not have children. I'm not married. And I feel great about this because I'm going my own path. I'm an individual and I'm following myself. I'm not following anybody else, and I'm definitely not following a structure that society has set up for me. I'm living.
And you know our like society here in the Gulf are, you know, very well structured. Like they want, even let's say that's not the issue with marriage. It's the issue after getting married. After getting married, you have to behave a certain way. You have to have certain visits. You have to have like certain lifestyle that fits the character that they want you to be. And sometimes it gets, I mean, it's really scary because it's a long run, not just one time or just small period of time, and that's it. It's going to be for the long run.
Yes.
And some people, if they're not independent in the way of their thinking, in the way of their choices, and the way they choose their life, they will be stuck in one place.
Yes, for a long time, and
for a long time.
Maybe their whole life. So that's the family that I came from, right? Nobody ever achieved anything, significant. Everybody got married very young, had a family very young. Everybody worked, labor jobs their whole life. And, I say this, when I was a child, I knew that I could break away. Now, how I knew that, I don't know, right? I don't know how.
Maybe Tufty.
Yes, I was channeling my inner Tufty at 10 years old, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but when I found, so I moved away, right? In every sense of the term. I moved away from my small town. I moved away from, the normal methods that my family all lived by. I moved to Los Angeles. I moved to a big city. I created a business for myself. I started living a very, very different life. And when people asked me, because I have not been formally educated. I didn't graduate from university. Everything that I have, I made entirely on my own. And when I would tell my story to people, this is before transurfing, when I told my story to people, and they would say, wow, how did you do that? I would say, I don't know, I just did it, right?
Yeah.
When I found transurfing, it allowed me to then be able to tell people how I did it, right?
Yeah.
It was the missing information that I didn't have, that I was actually using from a very young age, that was allowing me to create my own reality. I just didn't know exactly what it was that I was doing. So when I found transurfing, that's why it immediately struck a chord with me, because I knew I had already been living that way for a long time. Now I could just have terms to define everything by, and I could tell people. And that's why I'm so passionate about the work that I do now, because before I would say, somebody would say, wow, how did you do that? I want to have that cool stuff too. And I would say, well, you can do it. It's easy. You just have to do it. And they'd say, well, what? But tell me what to do. And I'd say, I don't know exactly, just do it. And now I can tell people what to do, right? I can say, you have to feel, mind and heart coordination. You have to be aware of pendulums. You have to understand the vastness of the space of variations, and that everything that you want is actually very, very close to you. That's why the law of attraction and The Secret, they don't really work. They're teaching you that you can manifest things, but they're far away from you and you have to pull them into your reality. That's not true. Everything that you want right at this moment exists right around you, right in your general vicinity. All you have to do is put yourself on a track where those things exist. And it's very easy to do that when you understand these methods. You can move around with very, very little effort, but you have to know how to do it. And that's reality creation, is knowing how to influence your general environment to get what it is that you want simplistically, without a lot of effort, right? All the beliefs that you have to work hard for stuff, it's not true. Do not have to work hard for anything. You need to choose a goal. You need to recognize the doors on the way to the goal. You need to walk through them without emotion, without importance, and you will ultimately achieve what it is that you want. Very, very simplistically. It's as easy as that.
I believe that transurfing, Tufty techniques, also part of transurfing, advanced transurfing, are all form of magic. This is really my belief. Even Tufty said that in a way or another. Like it was like he was saying that in some of the years, if they knew about you, they would kill you because you're using so many
Yeah.
magical stuff.
Oh yes.
But from my side, I always have this idea that there is some magic in the world, and I always have this aha moments, and you know, the feeling of wonder about life, and this is what got me into the path of these things.
Yes.
I started doing, like, I don't know if you know about TFT, tapping. I'm doing training in tapping, and the tapping is because when I read Transurfing and I wrote I read one of Vadim Zeeland. He said, you have to keep balance of your emotions. You can use any techniques you want. Just keep balance of your emotions during the situation.
Yes.
And I'm using the TFT as part of my arsenal.
Awesome.
If
Yeah.
if it's not working this way, I'll use TFT, you know. Try to focus on my nose sometime. If it's not working, I'll do TFT. That's it.
Yes.
So focusing on your nose, by the way, guys, focusing on your nose is part of Tufty or part of Transurfing techniques. That how to keep to be centered in your emotions, like focusing on yourself, not focusing on the other person, like 100%.
Yes, not getting too sucked into your outer reality and not getting too sucked into
your inner reality.
Yes, staying
so
in the center.
It was something amazing that Transurfing was one of the things that was put in front of me to teach me that life is really magic. You can really have a lot of things that you want. Sometimes it's not gonna work. So what? Sometimes it's gonna work. Maybe it's not there is so many reasons for that, and you can figure it out, and you can be like having fun while figuring why it's not happening, and you'll be laughing why it's not happening because you didn't want it also from the first place. You didn't want it from the first place, but you just want it. I don't know, because everybody wanted it. Like you want the best car in the world, but you don't really even like it. And sometimes you see a Ford Jeep, and you'll be like, oh, I want this car. You know, so it's so amazing. You have good feeling toward better than Lamborghini. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, when I lived in Los Angeles, and I know it's kind of a silly analogy, but since you brought it up, when I lived in Los Angeles, I drove, you know, a 5 Series BMW because I thought that's what you should drive, right?
Yeah.
Now I drive vintage Cadillacs, right? They don't cost a huge amount of money, but they're like super cool cars, you know, and I buy 1 or 2 and then I drive it for a while, and everybody like around town, like, oh my gosh, there's the girl with the Cadillacs, you know. I love these cars, right? These cars are like my pride and joy. I love these cars. But the reason that it feels so much better to drive one of these vintage Cadillacs than it did the BMW is because the vintage Cadillac is coming from within. It's an actual, it's something that I truly like. It's not something that society is telling me I should like. And I have people sometimes say, why do you like those cars? That's so weird. You know, like I was driving around a 1984 Eldorado Baritz for a while. And, you know, it looks like a gangster car. And like everybody says to me, oh, you know, that's so interesting. Like, why do you like those cars? And I'm like, I don't know. I just like them. You know, I just like, it's because it's really what I like. It's not what society's telling me. Nobody's selling me on the vintage Cadillac, but I allowed myself to be sold on the BMW. And that's kind of a good analogy for how I live my life now. I don't let myself be sold on something. I listen to what it is that I want, regardless if it's popular, regardless if everybody else is doing it or not. You know, I do it. And I have my own style. I have my own way of existing and being. I have my, you know, everything about my life looks very, very different than.
I can see that, because the last course you were dressing differently. You were like, just your own style.
I just do my own thing. I just do my own thing.
You know, you remind me, I have a daughter, she's 7 years old. Her name is Talia. And when I learned Transurfing about like being like independent in your opinion and stuff, it's not about going against everybody. It's just for your own self. I was trying to push my daughter sometimes, like for example, if she's eating something, I said, I don't like it. And she would look at me and said, okay, if you don't like it, don't like it. I like it. And I was like, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yes.
If it doesn't matter if I like it or not. If you like it, just go ahead and do it.
Absolutely. Asking yourself, is this something that I really like, or am I feeling like I need to like this for a specific reason? Getting back to your friend who had the question about the man that she's to marry. Ultimately, something inside of her is telling her that she doesn't like this. Now, she might not be saying it inside, it might not be that she doesn't like the man, but maybe she doesn't like how quickly it's progressing. Maybe she doesn't like the way it's progressing. Maybe she wants to do something else and she's not paying attention to other parts of who she is as an individual, and something is happening there, right? Most people, what they do in this circumstance is they stuff that voice down and they continue on with what they should be doing, or they feel they should be doing. And that's where people get into trouble. And in my opinion, that's how people end up in a midlife crisis, is they lived the shoulds for too long, and they find themselves in a place where none of the material around them is what they want. Maybe they're not married to the person they want to be married to. They're working a job they don't like. They live in a part of the world or a city or wherever that they don't really like. And then they have sort of a breakdown where their soul is like, wait a second, this isn't the life that I want, you know? And when you can start listening to that voice and living by that voice, your reality will transform around you, and you will start living the life that you want, you know, really living the life. Not living the life that you want.
It's really tricky, especially when it comes to getting engaged to someone, especially if it's going to be long-term marriage. It's not even knowing somebody, it's just going into the deep, you know, commitment is, especially when it is like there is an aura around this marriage. And always there is an aura, certain way you have to. My advice to her was like the immediate advice before. I told her, just speak about it with your significant one. Just see, maybe just you need to open up your heart a little bit, and maybe he need to just calm you down a little bit. Maybe that. If it's not, then it's not. So, you know, you don't have to just go and do it because you're supposed to do it.
Might be somebody else's goal.
Yeah. One last question was about transurfing. They asked me about it. Is how to deal with negative people, especially when they are your father or your significant one, your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. They are very negative. You know, it's like they are a pendulum in the house.
Yes.
So what's your take on that?
So I've gotten that question a lot. The golden rule of transurfing is, again, allow yourself to be you, right? What we were just talking about, and allow others to be themselves as well, right? Don't try to ever influence somebody into thinking the way that you think or feel, or the things that you believe, right? Because remember, every theory, every idea, right, has evidence to support it. So if you believe the world is a beautiful place, you can find evidence around you to support your theory, right? If your father believes that the world is an ugly place and a bad place, he can find evidence to support his theory, right? Nobody is ever right or wrong, ever. There is no such thing as right or wrong in the transurfing modality. It's just what you believe, right? So if you can understand that from a one-on-one, you know, context, like if you're living with somebody that's negative, let them be negative, because their layer of reality is negative. They are actually not doing anything wrong energetically, right? They're just agreeing with a set of ideas or evidence that they've collected from their reality. So have compassion for the person, right? They're living a reality that they've chosen. You're choosing something else, but for you to remain in harmony you cannot try to affect them, right? You just have to let them be. You just have to let them be. And the other helpful thing you can do is activate your inner observer, which is the voice, you know, inside of you that knows what is right and what is wrong to do. And probably tuning in to somebody else's negativity, your inner observer is going to say, hey, wait a second, there's actually something better that you can tune into, right?
Yeah.
Don't tune into that. It's not going to pay you back much. You have to tune into something that is going to give you something in return. So yes, in a sense, it's a pendulum, and you just need to activate your inner observer, you know, approach it from a non-emotional place, allow them to be them, and allow you to be yourself. And over time, it just becomes, you know, it's natural. It's easy, right?
Yeah, it's a cycle. So they are negative, but if they're gonna be negative, they're gonna be negative. They call it. It is what it is. Okay?
It is.
Just call it what it is. Yeah.
Yes.
If you say, just keep saying that it is what it is. This is a good way just to not focus on what's going on there, and just agree that it's in your life now, and just move on, do different things. Some people will just keep focusing that, dreaming on them, thinking of them at night, and thinking why they did this to us, and why did they say that to us, or what did they, and they keep feeding that energy to be bigger and bigger and bigger, and keep affecting them. So part of it is just let it go, just keep on doing what you're doing, and just acknowledge that it's there, and just move on with your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it really is about the path of least resistance, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you're going to tune into somebody else's negative energy, you're going to create a path for yourself where there is resistance energetically. And there is components of your reality that are not going to be working in your favor, right? That's tuning into anything negative. So yeah, it's about choice. It's about choice.
Actually, Renee, I don't want to even stop here, but we need to stop somewhere. So I want to ask you a couple of questions regarding you, regarding the services you provide, regarding the training you provide. So what kind of training do you provide? Is it online? Is it session? Is it all of them? Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that.
Yep. So I give one-on-one sessions. I also do groups as well. Usually my sessions are over Zoom, conference calling, or phone. If you do live in my area, I'm in California and both Oregon. I could, you know, possibly meet if we're close to each other. I also certify to become Transurfing instructor. I have created a manual that has been reviewed and approved by Vadim Zealand. It is the official Transurfing Trainers Manual.
Nice.
If you decide that this is for you and you want to extend this knowledge to other people, you would get certified by me, and I would teach you how to use this manual to do that.
I just want to say one thing about this manual. It really made it very easy for me to navigate through the Transurfing book so fast and get the ideas. And because in the book, in the notes that you showed me just a little bit, it will tell you just go read like page from this to this, and you'll explain it your own way. And it's really easy to read the book this way. It's not just reading the book. No. You read the instruction, you read the explanation, and maybe you want to go deep into this, you can go to the book from these pages to these pages. It was amazing. It made me finish the book like in 1 month, one month period of time.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. I didn't know exactly why I was making this book when I made it. I didn't know how it was going to be used. I just knew that Transurfing was a very big book, and I wanted to condense all the knowledge into something that was a little easier to sort of flip through and get all the concepts. And later ended up becoming the instructor's manual and what I use for when I give seminars to large groups. So I'm glad that it helped you. That was my outer intention gift to Transurfing and whoever wanted to become an instructor. So I'm glad that it worked.
Thank you. And you said that you're doing training, you're doing group training, you're doing one-on-one session. What else do you do?
I do one-on-one sessions, group training, I certify, and I'm available for public speaking or seminars.
Do you also do online recorded session training? Recorded training?
I'll do anything. I really, if anybody out there has any sort of interest in transurfing, whatever it will take to help get this knowledge to you.
Like, for example, you can apply transurfing to businesses, you can apply to like personal relationships, you can apply to money-wise, all of that.
Absolutely. Yes, you can use it. You can use it to make your relationships better. You can use it to make more money. You can use it to find your soul path, who you really are deep inside. You can use it to manage aspects of your reality that you don't currently like, or you can just use it to make your reality a little more magical. And that's kind of where I am now. You know, reality has become a game for me. It's become a beautiful story, and I get to sort of influence how my story is going to play out. And it's actually a lot easier than, you know, the forces that be lead us to believe that it is. You can have all the things that you want pretty easily. You just have to understand how to do it.
Thank you, Rene. I just want to say one thing. Your energy is amazing. You're just oozing energy, oozing fun, oozing excitement. And I really hope to see you next time.
Yes.
Where would they know about you if they want to know more about you?
So you can find me on Instagram at reality_transurfing, or you can email me directly at Rene@transurfing.us. Or you can go to my website, which is www.transurfing.us.
Okay, perfect. See you next time.